Omoyele Sowore faces the court once again. Are we about to witness a new era of civil unrest in Nigeria? In the final point in this video, it might be the breakthrough you have been waiting for as a Nigerian youth. Follow up with this discussion. Now, as of today tends to be 23rd September 2024, and Omoyele Sowore, when he came back from wherever he went to and he traveled, wherever Sowore came from after the protest that happened in July, is it July or August, about the end bad government, immediately he came back, he was being arrested, and I think he was served a paper to go to court. And today he went to court. Unfortunately or fortunately for him, the persecutor was not available, and so the conversation could not go off. But while Omoyele Sowore decided to go to court, he also decided to go with some people who are prepared for protest. And the protesters were there when the video coverage people come around at the media. And Omoyele Sowore said a lot of things. To me, I think Nigerian youth, we need to hit the brake a little bit, because not every day is vibes and chaos, because we are getting used and making it comfortable for us to always rally, protest, chaos and every other thing that we think it is necessary. And I'm not denying the fact that I understand the oppression and I can see it clearly that the oppression of Nigeria is much. But I think we need to pause for a while and we need to think as Nigerian youth. Initially, before this protest began around July, about the end bad government, I made some videos and I told VDM, Very Dark Black Man, Seun Kuti and Omoyele Sowore that you guys in this end bad government that is about to come up, you guys wouldn't be available and you guys might not be able to do much, because there are no strategies and good planning before you make a decision to go against the government. Then part of the suggestion and my guest had on the video, it was that why can't we just decide as Nigerian youths to implement some of the ideas that were used against us in the 90s or in the 80s and implement some of those strategies with our government by coming into the political space little by little? Are there any plans for Nigerian youths to know how to avoid this unnecessary deaths and the pain of the Nigerian youth? And some people think that the protest is only the option we have, and the protest is the only thing that can save us and the rest of it. Imagine before the end bad government, certain individuals protested against the civil about minimum wage, and they increased it from maybe 35,000 to almost 70,000 naira. Hopefully that is implemented in every state, but it didn't take long. We realized that it's not that effective, in a sense that the fuel prices has been hiked up. So regardless of the money that they are adding up, the fuel prices are still the same, in fact if not worse than it was before. And then I said it would have been proper for Nigeria to have focused on the real issue, which the real issue was the fuel prices. We are not done with that. The Omoyele Sowore, the activists and the rest, everybody are beginning to prepare for another protest in October 1st. And he said something. He said he has been arrested in 2019 and he doesn't mind if he gets arrested again, but he wants people to continue in the protest, and he kind of say he is not as significant in the protest anymore. The Nigerian youth can take it all over. And I ask myself a question. Every single time Nigerians, it is more or less like our reality to protest against the bad government and the rest of it. For over since 2020, we have consistently protest almost year after year for one thing or the other. But one of the things that baffle me is like, why are we not coming up with solutions also, so we can have some kind of answers, knowing fully well that the government does not have our best interest in mind? When your government, is obvious that your government do not have your best interest in mind, the thing that baffles me is like, is it not foolishness or stupidity to continuously do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? I have told Nigerian youth severally that, you see, we have to create certain things. What we have, most people in the diaspora that are black Americans, they do not have. Part of the things Nigerian youth we can claim is that this land is our father's land. And I know that some people do not want to listen to it because they are looking for fast solution. I was once in Lagos. I was born and brought up in Lagos, and I know the importance as a Lagosian and the lifestyle and the enjoyment and all of that. But in the pursuit of my success and in the pursuit of my family and in the pursuit for my own vision, it was obvious to me that Nigerian government does not have the interests of the people. So I decided to move to a different state, and I decided to start making investments in things that are different. And some people will say, is it basically because you have made the money and that's the reason why you have a house and you have some things and that's why you're speaking the way you're speaking? You are more or less sounding like the politicians. And let me say this, my brothers, I have never received a 10 kobo in my life from, I don't even know any politician in my life. I don't know any politician in my entire life, yet I'm able to find some solutions towards the problem of my life. And it is not that I'm not facing the challenges just like my Nigerian youth brothers and sisters. It's like I decide to implement something different, because I realize that complaining about the situation is not going to change the situation, most especially when it comes to the people who are always dedicated to make sure that they please certain people that are not even their own people. And they are more interested in how greedy and how wealthy they become. And so I made a decision to move to Ogun State, to move to a different state and begin to go into farming, go into poultry, and I used the YouTube space as an advantage for me. Part of what I did after I started going into farming and the rest of it, I started little by little. Plantation is part of it, rearing of turkey is part of it, all other things that Nigerian can actually produce is part of it. Because if we ask ourselves, Nigerian youth, what are we actually providing or what are we producing as people apart from the crude oil that the government and the gold that the government are interested in? Some people have spoken to me in diaspora about how they want us to import cashew, groundnuts, red oil, all kinds of things. And I'm like, these things are kind of available if Nigerian youth are dedicated. But one of the things is this: apart from those who have lived in most of the capital states, they always believe that there's insurgency in every part of Nigeria. But that is far from the truth. Maybe 3 or 4 states have insurgency. Not all the old 36 states has insurgency. And the question is this: why are we not taking advantage to invest in other things? Because some of the phones a lot of us use, only one phone that Nigerian youth are using, you can use that particular phone to buy 2 plots of land and the rest of it. So here was what I was even thinking. I was like, instead of Nigerian youth continuously protest without creating a backup that will please the people, and all Nigerian youth are just going to the protest ground, and at the end of the day some of them become slaughtered pain of my people. Why not we take that same energy and start diversifying among ourselves, where some Nigerian youth should start going and start investing in some farming, in some poultry. This particular activism and activists and the rest of it that is going on, at least We can learn from the time of VDM. When VDM was making some kind of money, VDM will say that if you want to go and learn tailoring, if you want to learn hairdressing, and if you want to learn some kind of stuff, I as a Nigerian, I am ready to sponsor you if I know that you are serious. Why are we not implementing all these things for those who are telling us to go activist and all of that? Why are we not telling ourselves to go diverse into other things? And some people will say, I do not understand what I'm saying, because if I understand how the economy is working, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. But I'm telling you that I'm a living proof of what I'm talking about. If Nigerian youth begins to go out of Lagos and begin to look at other states and say we have to be able to go through some things and to invest in our life, take some soil, take some ground, let us invest in yam, let us invest in cocoa, let us invest in many things, because a lot of us are so much interested in the technology world. And I'm not knocking out the idea of technology world. Besides, I have a social media platform, and that is the reason why I'm having this conversation with you. But as Nigerian youth, we must be willing to walk in our father's land, knowing fully well that the land belongs to us. And then, if there is a little bit of solution to our problem, why some of us can start working and taking good care of ourselves, it is then easy for us to strategize and make a good planning on how to not to attack the government, but to protest on things that is actually going to make a change. Because the dollar currency is getting high. What are we Nigerian youth actually producing? We have many Yahoo boys. We have a lot of boys who are using ladies for all kinds of things. And the other thing is, maybe we have few other people who are doing real business and the rest of it. But majority of us are not participating, and some people will say there's no capital. Why don't we even foster ourselves and put ourselves in a channel like, okay, we need the government to support us in farming. We need the government to support us in this. We need the government to support us in this particular aspect and this particular aspect. Why we are taking the step, and the government are saying that Nigerian youth are actually taking the step. I have not given up on Nigeria. Sometimes it gets stressful, but our attitude towards certain things, Omoyele Sowore said a statement, and he said, for you people, I know that an average Nigeria is not afraid to quench. And I'm like, these statements are very easy to say, that somebody is not afraid to quench again because of the hardship of the country, until you go to the protest ground and tear gas is being sprayed in your eyes and you see the stick facing you. And then you start doubting yourself if you had made the right decision or you made the wrong decision. Let us wake up, Nigerians. I'm not saying that we should stop it. I'm just saying, why not we create other alternatives to see where we can go as Nigerian youth, rather than us focusing all our energy to the bad choices that we ourselves have made decisions to make. I want us to understand this. When you make a decision to choose a government, you should understand that the government has some kind of power. You see, when you do not understand the power of the government, that is the reason why you think that some of the things you are doing is going to bring solution. If you do understand the power of your government, some people wouldn't be taking the kind of step they are taking. And I'm only telling my Nigerian youth, create more alternative. Those people who are ready to sponsor for activism and the protest and all of that, why not diversify into investing in the Nigerian youth for certain individuals to start going to Ogun State, Ibadan and the rest of it, and start going into farming and the rest of it, poultry, all kinds of things. Yes, you would have other kind of excuse, oh, it has to do with the government and the government and the government and the government and the government. Some of us are living our life without looking at the government, regardless of the fact that things might not be going well, but we are not open on the government. And I'm saying, if we join our hands together to be civil a little bit, the answer shouldn't be about rushing to the protest ground and hoodlums taking after the protest, and at the end of the day, our brothers and sisters would be gone. and then this cycle repeats itself over and over. Please, if you are a Nigerian youth and you have a means to reflect on your life and you are trying to participate in this, bring this subject and throw it to those people who are asking you to go protest every single time, and say, what other alternative do we have to help ourselves out? If there is no alternative, how long are we going to continue this? With that being said, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, like and share. Hope to see you in the next video. Adios, amigos.